Okay. Okay, so we are coming back live. We're going to be looking at a second essay that we have taken from another student who's studying for the IELTS. Okay, so if you're coming back to this live stream, my name's Phil. So here at the IELTS Grind, what we're trying to do is to find your IELTS essays and to give you some advice about it. We just happen to be doing this live. So if at any point you would like to ask a question, just leave a comment in the comment section.
In the chat, in the live chat.
In the chat, there's a live chat even, because we're doing this live. We've got Mike over relaxing in the corner.
Yep,
you can't see him, but he's relaxing. He's got his feet up and he is on the chat if you've got any questions. Okay, so we're looking at another essay here by Tundi, and if we read the question and then we can talk about the type of essay we should have. So some people feel that the design of newly constructed buildings in big cities should be controlled by governments. Others believe those who finance the construction of a building should be free to design it as they see fit. Discuss both these views and give your opinion. Okay, so there are three main groups of IELTS essay structures. There's the opinion essay. This is one that we looked at in a previous live stream just a few minutes ago, in fact. There is a discussion essay and there is a two-part or two-task essay. This one is what we would call a discussion essay. So it clearly says discuss both these views about whether or not people should be free to design buildings or have government controls, and give your own opinion. That's very important to remember. If we go and have a look now at what Tundi has written. So you can have a look at this. It's there's a link to a Google Doc in the description of this video. I'm just going to double check, actually it should be there. If it's not,
it's there.
I'm sure that Mike can double check it is the right one, and if it's not the right one, we can put that into the chat. Okay, so we're going to read this together. We're going to talk about what is good, what can be improved, and there's a model answer at the end of this document that we're going to send to Tundi, and they can have a look at that. So just the colours here. There's lots of different colours. So the things in green, they're obviously, that's good stuff. That's really good use of vocabulary and grammar. The things in orange could be improved. We understand what you're saying, but you could say it in a better way. The things in red, that's just a grammar mistake or a vocabulary mistake. And the things in purple, they're just illogical, or they don't really fit with the rest of what's being said. So let's read this now.
Just one quick technical thing. If you could really quickly update the description, because that is last time.
Yeah, okay, I thought this could be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the link and I'm going to go into the live stream. This is behind the scenes. I'm going to go all the way up to the top. So if you're interested, you can have a look at last week's live stream. And you've got a document with different essays. And these are things that we're going to send to the writers. So if you want us to correct your essay, all you've got to do is send us the question, send us the sample of the essay you've written with a link or in the comment section, and we'll look at it, and you'll get a record and you'll get real feedback, which is essential if you want to improve. Okay, we're all good, Mike?
Yes, and I've also copied and shared it into the chat.
Perfect, almost professional. Okay, so it says, while some people's mindset is that the structure of building in large cities should be determined by city's authority. Others prefer that people should be given the free will to build according to the design they chose. In my own perspective, the leader of a town should allow everyone to erect a building according to the structure they desire. Okay, so quickly let's go through what I've picked out here. So the first thing in red on the first line, people's apostrophe. This is not what we want. We're talking about the mindset belonging to the people. Now, people is already plural, one person, two people. So the apostrophe needs to go between the E and the S. It's just a typo, but punctuation does matter. But in fact, I know it's not a typo because the writer makes the same mistake again. It's just something that they need to unlearn. Okay. Moving on, building in a large city should be determined by. So I don't think the use of the word determined is quite right here. We're going to have a look in a moment at the model answer and we'll see what was changed. But it just doesn't really fit with what's being said. By city's authority, it should be by the city's authorities, I would say, or leaders or something like this. The cities. We're talking about a particular city, we need to have the definite article. Given the free will to build according to the design they chose. I think this is an excellent sentence, really good. I just think it's a really good sentence. But we've got a lot of purple here. Now, grammatically speaking, the purple sentence, it's not too bad. There's a few good phrases in there as well. To erect a building, I think this is an excellent collocation. Two words that naturally go together, that's a collocation. But it doesn't make sense for this essay because that sentence is your thesis statement. It's what the essay is about. And it asks us in the question, discuss both these views and give your own opinion. So we need to write a very particular sentence where that purple sentence is. So let's look at the model answer. So if you're looking at the document, which is now in the description, and Mike has already put it in the chat, it says, while some people's mindset is that the structure of buildings in large cities should be governed by the city's authority, others prefer that people should be given the free will to build according to the designer they choose. This essay will explore both of these views as well as providing my own opinion. You see that last sentence? That is the type of sentence you need to write in every single discussion essay, because all you're doing here is telling the reader what you are planning to do throughout the essay. You do not have to write your opinion in this type of essay, a discussion essay. If we're talking about an opinion essay, the one that we saw in the previous live stream today, you do write your opinion in the introduction, but not for this type of essay. So I hope that's clear. So let's have a look. So we'll move on to the next paragraph. So what I'm expecting here is for one paragraph to be totally about one point of view. That's the way we should write this. So let's read it. It says, on one hand, people should construct a building according to the laid down design of the heads of metropolis in order to prevent buildings from collapsing during earthquakes. So long the government chooses the structure of buildings for those who want to embark on a building project, accidents due to building collapse would be averted in the society whenever a natural disaster occurs. A case in point was in a region in Japan which usually experience earthquakes, which often results in building collapse. As soon as government laid down the code of and ethics of building a structure, there was drastic reduction in the number of buildings collapse during environmental hazards. Okay, so I was exaggerating a little bit, but you can kind of see when I'm reading the things I really struggle with, that's normally where the mistakes are. Okay, so just going through it, there are a few clear errors here in red. It's normally down to typos or spelling mistakes, depending on whether or not you're typing it or writing it by hand. There's also just a few errors when it comes to plurals and using the first and third person when you're conjugating verbs. But there's also a lot of green here, some really good phrases to prevent buildings from collapsing. That's very high level. I liked phrases like to embark on a building project. Very good collocations. So let's have a look at what I did in the model answer. So you can see all of the things I've kind of changed are in blue. So a lot of it is the original paragraph that the writer has written. So it says, on the one hand, people should construct a building according to the laid down design of the leaders of the local metropolis, in order, that's 2 words, to prevent buildings from collapsing during earthquakes, so long as the government chooses the structure of buildings for those who want to embark on a building project. Accidents due to buildings, so it should be building, yeah, I think I made a mistake there. So I will correct this. Accidents due to buildings collapsing would be averted. So it should be buildings collapsing. It's even possible that Tundi wrote that properly in the original and I didn't copy it over. So due to buildings collapsing would be averted in society. So again, it should be in society whenever a natural disaster occurs. A case in point, this is a good phrase, was in a region in Japan which usually experiences earthquakes, which often result in buildings collapsing. As soon as the government laid down codes and building regulations, this is a better phrase, building regulations for structures, there was a drastic reduction, that's 2 words, I think that was just a typo, in the number of buildings which collapsed during environmental hazards. Okay, so I didn't change too much here. It was just a question of incorrect grammar at times, even though there are still some mistakes here and there, and not quite using the right form of the word here and there. Okay, are we ready for the next paragraph? I hope so, because I'm ready. Are you ready, Mike?
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so on the other hand, I like this phrase because it links up with what was said in the first paragraph. People who raise the funds to build a structure should be given the chance to build according to the design they desire, in order, again 2 words, to beautify the town, which is, my opinion, okay. This is largely because since it adds aesthetic to a community, people who raise the money to build their buildings should be given the choice of selecting the design of the structure they want to erect. A clear example is the city of Paris in France, which was said to be one of the most beautiful cities in the world because of the government gave people the freedom to build houses according to what design they prefer. Okay, so there's a few good phrases here. You can see them in green. There are a few things in purple and still a few things in orange and red. So in red, in order, this is just a bit of a spelling mistake because of this is just using the wrong kind of format of this phrase. But the things in purple, which is my opinion. The problem with this is, with this essay, we should not be given our opinion anywhere in the body of this essay, okay? So that's why it doesn't make sense. Okay, let's have a look at the model answer to compare. So again, there's not a lot of difference here. So the first kind of line is exactly the same, just in order is split into two words as it should be. The next one is a little bit different. So let's start with, this is largely because it adds aesthetic beauty to a community, and so those people who have raised the money to build their buildings should be given the choice of selecting the design of the structure they want to erect. So it's just been worded ever so slightly differently. And if we look in the next sentence, again, it's not that different. We've just changed because of the to because the government. Now, if you would like to know the difference between because of and because of the, so because of, you can look in the, well, maybe in the chat. If Mike's clever, he's going to find the video that's on our channel that talks all about that. So if you go on to the IELTS Grind YouTube channel, you will find, I can even have a look to see if it will come up. So if you can go through, there is a video.
Got it.
You found it, Mike?
Yep.
Okay, so Michael will put that in the chat, but it's titled as that, because of versus because, or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have a look at that. Okay, and the last little bit that we changed was to what design they preferred, rather than the original, which was according to what design the prefer rather. So this is just, again, a little error, I think. Okay, so we're looking at the conclusion, and if you look at it, there's only really a little bit of green here. There's a really good phrase. It is my firm conviction. I really like this phrase. This very clearly says this is my opinion. So in terms of grammar and everything like that, there's no issue here, but it can be improved. So let's just have a look at the original compared to the model answer. To conclude, although government regulation in the choice of the design of a building might help reduce the rate at which buildings collapse during environmental disasters, it is my firm conviction that to add aesthetical features to a community, people who provide it the finances to construct an edifice should be the ones to select the type of design they desire for their proposed building. There's not too much wrong here, not enough to get my highlighter out. But there is a bit of an improvement that we can make. And if you look at the actual conclusion in the model answer, it is quite different just because of this. So I've put, to conclude, although both of these views have their merits, I believe that property developers should be allowed to build to whatever design they wish. Okay, what we need to do here is very clearly state our opinion, but also we want to write a balanced essay. So this is why we say something like, although both these views have their merits, which means they're both good views. It's just that I tend to side or agree with one or the other. It's just a nice kind of academic way of saying, yeah, I think this is a better idea. Then it goes on to say, it is true that government regulation in the choice of the design of the building might help reduce the rate at which building, again, I keep making mistakes here, Mike, buildings collapse. There should be an S there. I will put that into the final document. During environmental disasters. But it is my firm conviction that to add aesthetically, again, should put an ly there, pleasing features to a community, those people who provide the finances to construct buildings should be the ones to select the type of design they desire for their proposed development. Okay, so even in this model answer, there are actually a few little errors here and there. That could still get a fairly high score. The things that we've done to improve this, Firstly, that first sentence. We're clearly stating our opinion, which we must do in the conclusion. The other thing we've done is, it is true that. This is what we call a concession. We're saying, okay, yes, the other side has a strong argument here, but my argument is stronger because of these reasons. This is kind of a more complex way to write an argument, but you've got to phrase it in the right way, otherwise it sounds like you're changing your point of view. So again, this was an essay written by Tunde, and we've gone through and highlighted a few features that are good and some that could be improved. There are a few notes at the bottom which we'll be sending off to Tunde with the model answer. And if you would like us to correct any of your essays, all you've got to do is to send us a link or a comment in the chat, and we will be happy to look at them for you on the live stream and give you feedback. Talking of feedback, any questions there for you, Mike?
No, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, okay. Right, so in that case, what we're going to do is we're going to pick this up again next week. So obviously we're still working with the technology, but we will be here on a weekly basis talking about your writing, your speaking, and all other manners of IELTS related material. So thanks very much for watching. If you're watching it live, thanks for joining us. If you're watching on the playback, leave us a comment, tell us what you think. Okay guys, and we're going to jump into the Discord now and see if we can help anyone else. Okay, so until next week, I will see you later.
Peace.
Okay.